Kind of Star Wars Story is directed by Gareth Edwards and stars Felicity Jones, Forrest Whitaker, uh, Alan Tudyk, and among others, and is the spin-off sidequel to the Star Wars series that as we all come to love, started out with the original films from 1977 through and with the original trilogy, and then also began later with the prequels in 1999. And last year we had Force Awakens, and now it seems that much because of the success of Force Awakens, we're now starting to see that more Star Wars films are being made that are outside the episode saga, that are supposed to be coming in, that are supposed to be expanding more in the universe. And I've always enjoyed Star Wars a lot. If you've ever seen our last video we did where we talked about the Force Awakens, I grew up with it a lot, and I'm a hardcore Star Wars fan, as you see with my Jedi robe here. And you'll have to excuse the quality on over here where Eddie's talking, because he's using Skype. So because we couldn't be in the same place, he's having to do the video where he's at his house using Skype.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
I'm a big Star Wars fan myself. On the little back history of the other films, Force Awakens, which came out last December, I found a lot of people to bash that film. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I gotta say, I don't think I truly hate any Star Wars film ever made. I mean, I gotta say that, but I guess you could say I'm a little least liked with maybe episode 1 and 2 of the prequels, but I don't hate them. But yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of every Star Wars film. And, I was really anxious seeing this one.
Yeah, I was too. My least favorites are the first 2 episodes. I mean, for the prequel trilogy. But you know what? I've come to really understand that it wasn't really necessarily. It was mainly because of George Lucas of the writing that pretty much made those films not really too good. But anyway,
I find myself, even though I don't truly hate any of the Star Wars films. I just say that 1 and 2, the prequel, was the only 2 of Star Wars films out of the whole series that I can say that I have a lot of problems with, even though they're not horror. It's the only one that I can give a 4 or 5 out of 10. But the other ones, I can say that they were amazing.
Yeah. And so with this one, this one really got me hyped up, because not only was it trying to bridge the gap between episode 3, between the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy, but it gave us something different that we haven't seen before in a theatrical Star Wars film. This time we're actually focusing on different sets of characters that weren't present in either of the trilogies. And so now the story involves, you have a girl who starts out as a young child, Jyn Erso, who as she's with her father gets captured by the Empire, and then she grows up and is taken in by I forgot Forrest Whitaker's name, but Forrest Whitaker's character takes her in to protects her, and as she grows up, she finds out the journey goes with her trying to discover where her father's at. Now, this is going to be a spoiler-free video. We'll have a different video separate that's going to go into more detail, but as the film goes along, you start to uncover that she's helping the rebellion. She meets up with the rebellion with this other guy played by Diego Luna, and him and a ragtag group of people that are in different rims or on these different locations. They're having to team up to find out where the Death Star's plans are. And this film really got me okay, first of all, I really enjoyed the performances of this movie a lot. I actually really enjoyed Felicity Jones's performance. I thought she captured a lot of what you expect with this kind of she's not a Jedi, so she's more of what you would expect for someone working with the rebellion. And
yeah, this one really isn't about much Jedi. This is pretty much focusing on the rebellion itself.
Yeah, and of course we also have the other groups of Rogue One team's members. You have Diego Luna's character, who is assigned by the rebellion for the mission as well. He's pretty much the co-leader of the group, who's really trying to see where all the odds go with Jyn. And we're not going to spoil anything, but there's something later that we reveal that he is trying to do that's pretty much that he doesn't tell her about. And then we also have the other characters, which includes the blind kind of prophet kind of guy played by Donnie Yen, which actually was one of my favorite characters in the movie. I thought that this guy, I mean, for a blind guy who believes in the Force, like he was like badass, kicking ass with them stormtroopers.
Yeah, I actually liked him, and I liked how they, I believe one of the characters, the other Asian dude, and I believe somebody else would always, they'd go bicker back and forth, because that's all he'd say, the Force. He'd keep talking about the Force.
Yeah.
They'd bicker back and forth. Yeah, I enjoyed all the performances in this one. Visually shot, and I enjoyed that they brought all the nostalgia from all the history of the original, with the Death Star, the Stormtroopers. Since the trailer's out, you might as well say Darth Vader. They pretty much captured everything I possibly wanted with the nostalgia of the original. Now, my cons with this film was I felt like some of the characters in this film didn't get much like development to like really understand who they are. One of them I was really shocked at the minimum, the absolute minimum of lines and his scenes, but yet he was promoted so much in the trailer was Forrest Whitaker. I was really disappointed because it kind of pulled like he's like the main guy, or he's gonna be throughout this film, but his character is pretty much pointless.
Yeah, before I get to my cons, I figured going over my pros real quick, I also enjoyed, like you said, the visuals, especially the way that I really love the cinematography in this film, because it gives it that very gritty look that it's like an actual war movie. And you also get a lot of shots where you get the production design, they really felt close to the original films in how they kept it very practical with the effects, and they used little to no CGI, much like Force Awakens. And I really enjoyed how... What, go ahead.
Like I was saying, like, in the nostalgia, how they brought, like, so much of the littlest things that mattered, like, that we remember from the original. And it's funny how little things we used to grow up watching the original, and it was so cool to see them put in this film. Like, for instance, the little tall-ass things that shoot at you.
Yeah, the walkers.
Yeah, the walkers. I mean, they brought so much nostalgia from the original, franchise, or the original trilogy, and I mean, it was pretty cool seeing one after another, and I enjoyed all the little cameos from some of the original cast.
Yeah, I did too. We won't go into detail about that. We'll have that in the spoiler territory, but yeah, the cameos that they did bring up from the original cast I thought were very clever, and I really also enjoyed the way the story progresses with the team having to search the Death Star plans. Because I like the fact that they go to these different planets and everything that we haven't seen before that we get to explore in this one. And another thing I really enjoyed was it was cool that they brought back some of the original music that we've seen in the other films. Like, I don't know if this was also scored by John Williams or not, but it is very close to his music. And
it was scored by John Williams because I've seen his name in the credits.
Okay. Then yeah, it was great seeing him score this one. And I love a lot of the action scenes too, especially when you see the actual battles take place. It really does, like I said before, it does feel like a war movie, where it's a lot of on-ground fights and you see a lot of shootouts and everything. It really captures a lot of what the original battles were like too. And now to my cons, I mean, like here's where I get to my cons. Like he said earlier, I did have a problem with Forrest Whitaker's character because I'm not familiar with... I've actually heard this character is present in another series. He's in the Clone Wars TV series. But going by a theatrical-made Star Wars film, I felt like they underdeveloped this character a lot because they didn't really give him much to do.
Yeah. Like, that part where he saves her, like, he's going to save her at the beginning, with all, not going into too much detail, and then, like, he pops up later, and then he's talking to her. I mean, I felt like his scenes were poorly, like, I don't know if it was, he wasn't given too much, or with the mixture of that and bad editing, where he was just in and out throughout this film. Like, not throughout the film, like, the first 40 minutes of it.
Yeah, that's what drew me off. And another thing too, I liked his performance wise, but I just felt like this character could have done a whole lot more. Now, another thing I did have a problem with is when we first introduced the characters of the squad, I liked them where they were going, but because the film really is more of a straightforward story, we don't really get to spend a whole lot of time like really developing these characters that much, other than their personalities, because they really have little to no.
That was an issue with the. Yeah, I agree with you on the character. Like I was saying with Forrest Whitaker too, the character development, like you were just mentioned, a lot of the guy characters, like for instance, there's the guy that was worked for the Emperor. And then the main guy that we were talking about, yeah, it's just like they were bringing all these like guys in this part of the rebellion, but you don't get the strong character development.
Yeah, and Grant
kind of have emotions if something was to happen to him. It's kind of hard. It was like pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the film kept it very straightforward, which I appreciated. It's just that I was expecting more of that emotional triumph that you would see in other Star Wars films, because even though this is pretty much they're going from point A to point B, it does feel like there's more to these characters than what we're expecting, and the way that they do the emotional payoff doesn't really work too well for me.
Two of the guys, like Diego and the other dude.
Yeah.
They should have had a lot of character development because they play a vital role of what happens in this film.
Yeah. And so that was one of my issues. Another issue I had too was, well, this kind of goes back to the character development, but also the film itself, is that it took not too long, but it took a little bit for the film to kind of pick up in some parts, because the pacing kind of threw me off at first. But as it went along, it started to get better in the pacing wise. But I think because they were kind of going from point A to point B, it just felt very straightforward, and you weren't getting a lot of like expanding upon the universe in Star Wars, other than probably the last hour or the last like 40 minutes.
I'm gonna highly agree with you on this one. That was gonna be my next thing, and it's like you read my mind. The last hour, I highly recommend. That first 30 minutes, you feel interested, but yeah, I gotta agree with that pacing. I was actually, I will say, for the first 30 minutes, I was really scared that it was going to be a boring-ass movie.
Yeah, I had that feeling too. Like, I was interested at first, but
just drawn out, and I just felt like they were called filler scenes. Basically, they're scenes that are built up because they need to stretch out to make a good movie, like a long movie.
Yeah. Now, I understand that the film, takes its time to introduce us these characters, which I like, but like as it goes along, they do kind of spend a lot of time with that, because we get into probably an hour into the movie, and then we're introduced to more characters, which I'm like, well, that's kind of... They really stretch that part out a lot. Like, they could have at least introduced them sooner in the film, instead of having to bring them up more later in the movie,
Yeah.
But those are really my only cons, because other than that, I really did enjoy this one a lot. Now, is it as good as, say, The Force Awakens? No. But as its own Star Wars film, and for at least doing something that's different for once and trying to do it more like a gritty, more war film, I really do like this one a lot. And I feel like we need to see more spin-offs like this that can try, like the Han Solo spin-off, that's going to do a different direction than something that we haven't seen before,
Yeah.
And
I gotta agree. I really enjoyed this film for what it was, and I really enjoyed the tie-in, which I'm not going to spoil. I'm going to wait for the spoiler review.
Yeah, that was what I was going to get to too. The tie-ins they do are very well made, well done fan service for all the fans that are for Star Wars, and the way that it, when we get to that final climax, it really does pay off. So with that, I'm going to give the film an 8 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to be a lot higher than him on this one, because I gotta say, I felt like I probably enjoyed it more than you did. It answered, like, especially like the last 20 minutes, the last 30 minutes really connected what I really wanted. I was hoping it was. It filled what I wanted. So I'm gonna go 9 out of 10.
Fair enough. Well, we'll be having another video that will discuss more about the spoiler details of the film. But what did you guys think of Rogue One? Comment below, and if you like what you see here, you can check out more of our videos here on YouTube. And we'll see you in our spoiler video. So see you later.